I'm Judy Shaw for NYSE Floor Talk. Joining me today is Tiger Tyagarajan. He is the CEO of Genpact. Tiger, it's great to see you again. Thanks for joining me.
Judy, it's so good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. Now, a quick note to viewers, this interview is for informational purposes only. The NYSE doesn't recommend any investments or investment strategies. Now, Tiger, I've read that Genpact is using AI to help the UK government look out for and track adverse events related to a future COVID vaccine. Now, tell me about this.
Yeah, it's a very interesting portion of the work that we are doing for what is obviously going to be a very momentous set of months with the vaccines coming out. So first of all, it's working with the regulatory authority, that is the UK Medicines and Healthcare Regulatory Authority. It's called MHRA of the UK government. And it's really working with them. You know, anytime you have a drug that is either in use in the marketplace or is being launched, you always have to track for any adverse events. When someone has a medicine, does it create any side effects that you want to track and monitor? And that's something that all pharma companies do for all drugs across all jurisdictions. Now, in the normal course, that's a lot of data that has to be collected, monitored, and reported to the regulators. Now you think about the vaccine. In a very short period of time, a whole bunch of vaccines will be put out into the marketplace, both for the clinical trial and then subsequently for, once it's approved out in the marketplace. And at that volume, you still have to track any side effects, any adverse effects, pull all that data together, figure out who it's coming from, what's the demographic profile of that particular patient, who took the medicine, what's their background, and pull all of that information. When you have that much amount of information that has to be processed in such a short period of time, you need help. You need machines, you need software, you need AI. And that's what we are doing. We have a pretty significant presence in the pharmacovigilance and safety space. And in that presence, we have an AI-driven software that we call PVAI. We use that for regular medicines for pharma companies. In this case, we're using it for the clinical trial portion of what the MHRA is using for approving the vaccine. And then subsequently, we'll use it for when the vaccine actually comes out.
Okay. Now, Tiger, why is AI needed for this?
So think about, let's think about a regular medicine, forget the vaccine. So you have this medicine in the evening, and then the next day morning, you have a headache. Now you could classify that as an adverse reaction to the medicine, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's just that you had a glass of wine with the medicine and the label says you're not supposed to have it and you didn't read the label. The fact is, every one of these incidences called adverse events must be collected. If I were to be one of those people who either call the pharma company, who dial the 1-800 number, who send in a tweet, an email saying, hey, I took your medicine and I have a headache in the morning. All that information gets collected. Now you can do that all manually, which is what companies have been doing. And given the amount of drugs and medicines out there and the number of people who report all of these in various, through various media, the reality is that now more and more machines are helping pull all that data together and massage them. Because what is the objective? The objective is to find that needle in the haystack where there is this one adverse reporting that actually is a problem. Most of these are not a problem. Most of these are similar to the example I gave. I shouldn't have had a glass of wine with the tablet I had. But some of them could be real adverse reactions. The faster you get it, the faster you catch it, the faster the pharma company can react, and that could save lives. So this is about saving lives. So using AI with intelligent humans to save lives is what the journey of any pharmacovigilance and pharmacosafety is about, and that's what the software does.
Okay, now are you helping with testing as well?
So that's a very different arena, and the answer is yes. We are working with a couple of the larger pharma companies who have testing equipment and testing protocols, and there what we are doing is with our RightPoint business. That's a business of ours that we acquired about it's close to a year back. That actually focuses on how do you improve the experience of users of digital technologies. And what we've done there is the RightPoint team has built for the pharma company, a mobile-driven application that allows people like you and me to order a test. The test is one of those rapid tests that gets conducted, and the test kit arrives. And in about 15 minutes, you know the result of the test. And the use of that is that I can get a certificate at the end of that says I'm tested negative. I can use the certificate to actually maybe walk into my office, to maybe at some point in time visit a theater and watch a show, visit a sports game. So many places where that kind of rapid testing with a very user-friendly interface designed by our RightPoint team that allows much safer interaction between people in all kinds of locations where people get together. That's again very exciting because it actually allows economies to rise up again.
Oh yeah, no, that definitely is very exciting. Now, Tiger, finally, tell me, in what other ways has Genpact helped with technology in the war against COVID?
It's such a great question because at the beginning, we didn't really know. None of us knew what we were dealing with. None of us knew, for example, that demand is going to be so volatile for so many products and services. Supply is going to undergo so many changes with factories shutting down, countries shutting down. Where am I going to get my next supply? So with a number of pharma companies, we actually built a number of very quick analytical models that allowed them to predict demand better. So, when large portions of the world stopped going outside and spent a lot of time inside, guess what happened to requirements for allergy medicine? They dropped by 50, 60% in many cases. At the same time, a number of other medicines that were required because now you're spending more time at home. You are doing much more self-medication because you are not going to a hospital, you are not going to a doctor. Those underwent demand spikes. So managing that and helping our clients predict demand better, predict where is my best supply going to come from. For a healthcare equipment company, figuring out where is the next demand for ventilators going to come from? Where's the next demand for PPE going to come from next week? Based on what happened yesterday in terms of cases, in terms of hospitalization. So that's some of the work we've been doing. The other one is, just thinking about just the nature of supply chain. And as supply chain has got more and more complicated, and then thinking about the supply chain for vaccines, as that gets more complicated going into the future, doing a lot of analytics around that, using a lot of our again regulatory approval process and AI-driven approval process to help our clients get clinical trial approvals for vaccines, get clinical trial approvals and submissions for medicines, even for therapeutics, for treating COVID-19. Some of the fast approvals that are needed are based on how quickly can you present all the data to the regulator. And again, some of the AI-driven solutions that we have allow that to happen much faster than before.
Well, Tiger, it's amazing what you're doing. And I want to thank you for joining me on NYSE Floor Talk.
Judy, it's always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.